Welcome back to Card Salad.
Oh,
Yeah, we're reviewing day 5 of Everfest spoilers. And Mitch is Naruto again.
Believe it!
I'm Justin Salmon. We got Billy Willie and Tito Brandito. And we've got a mech card, a couple warrior cards, some interesting stuff for pretty like a smattering across all the classes today, and then ridiculous guardian stuff. Before we get started, though, I want to give a quick shout out to Fab Foundry. I am on the Fab Foundry team, and it helps out. It helps us out if you shop through our affiliate link, which is in the description down below. Fab Foundry is a great place. Travis is a great dude. So you should shop for your singles from Fab Foundry. And we will move on to our first card, Mechanologist. Attack action. Man, I'm not good at these intros. I skipped another part. I got a couple of parts. We're going to give like a 1 to 10 rating, discuss the cards a little bit, figure out where they belong. And on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is completely unplayable, kind of just like pack filler. 10 is completely meta warping, in my opinion. And 7 is about where like this just kind of goes in a deck. Like, you're going to see it played for sure in some form. Maybe not every deck, but like 7 is like very playable. Anyways, we have Tbone. This is the red version. Attacks for 3, blocks for 3, Mechanologist attack action. If you control a card on the combat chain that was boosted, the defending hero must defend Tbone with an equipment they control if able. And it has the boost keyword, which means when you play this, you may banish the top card of your deck, and if it's a Mechanologist card, this card gains go again. Tito.
is that me?
Yeah.
Am I Tito Brandito for
Yeah.
forever and always now? I don't know what mech decks really look like, but this card seems pretty mediocre. 0 with boost is pretty good. As mech gets more and more cards, they're gonna hit their 100% boost more and more frequently. As soon as they can replace Command and Conquer, and I guess some of them run Tomafey and all, right?
Yeah,
So
your CC variant runs those like pretty staple cards, and sometimes a ton of defense reactions. So sometimes you're not even on the boost plan, but this has some implications for like Blitz and Data Doll, right?
yeah, definitely good in data at all. 0 with boost is just where you want to be with her, especially with all her new items to play with. But the ability itself seems a little lackluster. There are some scenarios where it can be amazing, especially if they're running cards with like temper, or if you just need to wear down their armor for a big turn later with a big on hit. But overall, the card seems okay, especially in blue. Having another blue with this effect, it's not the best, but sometimes you will want this effect, and sometimes it'll be nice. Plus, a blue is just really good for the Mechanologist game plan. But yeah, I think overall this is like a, I don't know, 5.
At the very least, it's a maximum. It improves the consistency of maximum velocity.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing to improve. I think it's the most efficient damaging card in the game. No, Fortune is technically.
It's a 2
but 2 for 10. It's the most efficient at that size. So it's good in that instance. Also brings some interest to the world of Wraith.
Oh yeah, Max Velocity is the one we had to boost a bunch to play it, right?
Yeah, 3 times.
Yeah, I was thinking of High Octane. Dude, this is definitely good with Maximum Velocity.
We now have motorcycles in Wraith, so good to know.
Yeah, this is just like straight up a vehicle, which we have not. I mean, like mech has kind of futuristic stuff, but it's kind of steampunk.
Dash has already been doing Iron Man stuff.
She has, but it's been like a little acceptable in this like magical world, in where it's all steam or like magic or electricity based. And then this is just a fucking motorized vehicle plowing through the streets, which is very interesting for world building. But besides that, yeah, like Data Doll is actually getting quite a lot better with those new items and with this. because now she has access to 12 cards that cost 0 and can boost off the top. And the weakness of having a 3-card hand starts to go away a little bit when you don't have to pitch ever. So, like, if we got another more 0-cost boost cards in the future, she could have an entire deck that costs 0 to play out her entire deck. Not that, but then, like, obviously you're still missing cards you could block with and still play 0-cost cards. So, not saying it, like, fixes her, but definitely a good tool for Date It All. And the effect, I don't know if I agree with the blue being good, because most people have every equipment has 0. So, like, if you play blue Tbone and, like, let's say I'm Prism, I can block with the what's the light crown thing?
Halo of Illumination.
Yeah, I can block with Halo of Illumination. I can choose to block with that instead of my equipment that'll break.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That they get to pick.
Yeah, that was the big problem with Magnetic Shockwave. It's just like, it was such a low chance you were gonna boost like 2 times and then make them block with something that you were gonna break. But like this combined with Magnetic, you're pulling all of their equipment out. Or if you had like 2 or 3 T-bones, you might actually get some of their equipment. The potential is there to ruin someone's day. Like if Viscera were to block with Skeleta, and then you came in with a couple of T-bones and Magnetic, and you just ripped all their equipment away and broke all of it, like, it could be game ending.
Yeah, actually, this card is great against OTK, Viscera, and Bolton.
Yeah, I think with this in existence, if anybody starts putting it in their deck, as the OTK players, you have to be very cognizant of that potential and never block with your chest. You cannot put a counter on it, because these are gonna rip it away from you. So very interesting card with some potential like counterplay, taking important equipment away from people, but you kind of have to run a lot of them. And once you start playing the yellow ones or the blue ones, if you're not comboing with it, it's just really low damage. But they do block for 3, and they can pitch for your items. So maybe you fit the whole suite in a deck. I don't know. I'd give it a 7. This will see play.
Yeah, I think I'm saying 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with a 5 too.
It's really good, but it in and of itself isn't great. It just helps in a bunch of other realms, I'd say.
Next card. Slice and Dice.
Slice and Dice.
0 cost. Red. This is a rare, so we'll probably have all 3 colors. Blocks for 3. Warrior action. Whenever you attack with a sword or dagger this turn, if it's your first weapon attack this turn, it gains +1. If it's your second weapon attack this turn, it gains +3.
And probably +2, +1 for yellow and blue, respectively.
Yeah.
I would guess.
You think only the second? Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, it is. It is.
I don't think they changed the others.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wait, it would be if it's your first weapon attack, gains +1. If it's your second attack, it gains +1.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Weird.
Could be.
Weird card. What's up?
I don't know. I don't get the confusion. I think it's good. It's sad that it's only sword and dagger.
It doesn't work.
But yeah, I want it to work with axes. I think it's a pretty good card. I mean, right on the surface, it's a 0 for 4.
Yeah, we've seen the 0 for 4 is pretty good value, especially in the
actually,
decks that.
It's 0 for 5 if you attack with the same weapon. Nope, never mind. It's not until end of turn.
Wait, isn't this? Oh, okay. I was misreading this. I thought it was like a one or the other. Okay, so you play this at the beginning of the turn, and then your next 2 weapon attacks get buffed.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought this was like if you play it early, you only get +1, but if you manage to swing and then play it, you get +3. Okay.
The confusion makes more sense.
This has Bolton written all over it.
Yeah. Like I've said, now obviously this works with Raiden, but also I think there's a lot of consistency in here for more tempo sabers.
Yeah, there is a lot. Yeah, a ton of one-handed / sword support that is usable in Bolton. Like a lot of it didn't really make sense to combine Dorinthia stuff with whatever Raiden or whatever Bolton had access to, but this stuff does make a little more sense for Bolton or even Kasai running the one-handed swords. Yeah, 0 for 4, that's pretty good, and it turns on Bolton's hero power. It makes your weapons a little more threatening, which then turn on other effects when your opponent inevitably goes to block them. This will see play, I feel like. I'll give this a 7 as well.
I think give it a 7.
0 for 4 is great. Historically, almost always used.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 0 for 4 that blocks for 3.
Yeah. And has go again.
Yeah, it's just mathematically better than like a lot of generic, the generic attacks that attack for 4 but only block for 2. Well, I mean, that's not entirely true. There's 0 for 4 that blocks for 3. That's the baseline of a Flesh and Blood card. Like in the first set, there's it's like farmhand guy or something. I don't know. It's just a generic attack, but that's like a baseline. And then you add effects like snatch, draw a card. That's when it drops it down to like 2 block. But this kind of does some tricky things since it splits up the damage and turns on abilities with the +1 and then comes in later. So I don't know.
In the full breakdown, it's 2 for 9 across 2 attacks. 2 for 8 across 2 attacks. Sorry.
What?
Because you're 2 swords, bam, bam. The first one will be for 3, the second one will be for 5.
I think this only applies to 1. I think this only does the 4 and then it's done.
Yeah, but the swords have 2 power inherently on them.
Oh, I see.
Sabers.
Yeah.
And if it's if it's on Raiden, then it's 0 for what? 10 if you can get go again? Yeah, 0 for 10. Because Raiden's +3 if you've charged, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of gross.
Used to be 4, then 6.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because Raiden's 0. And you just charge with Bolton to give it go again.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Good card.
What'd you give it, Brandon?
I give that one a 7.
Okay.
Were we all 7 there?
Yeah. Blood on her hands.
Blood on her hands. Yellow pitch. Majestic. 0 cost. Warrior action. But hold on. It's a Kasai specialization.
We knew it was coming.
Blocks for 3. Oh, her hand is, she's like cupping a pool of blood? Or there's a face in her hand.
Yeah.
She's her own reflection.
I think it's her own face. It looks like her own face.
Yeah. Why is she holding
This is very metal.
blood?
This is very metal.
You can see her saber in someone's back on the ground.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
It's a sick card.
Kasai is just aggressive.
All right. So as an additional cost to play Blood on her hands, destroy any number of copper tokens you control. For each copper destroyed this way, choose a mode. You may choose each mode twice. And her hero power creates copper tokens, plus there's some other ways to create copper, so that's where that synergy comes from. Target one-hand weapon has +1 while attacking this turn. Target one-handed weapon has go again while attacking this turn. Target one-handed weapon may attack twice this turn.
I think this opens up Kasai to be a pretty... I mean, she already had some like semi-viable builds. Nothing game-breaking, but I think this opens her up to be a competitor. That's a lot of damage.
It is. You are relying on making that copper. I'm not sure how often she was making
There's that new card that makes 6.
If you hit with some... is it hit with an attack action?
Yeah, it's the first attack that hits that turn.
First
kind of like the old plunder run. Yep.
Yep, just
any
attack.
Any attack.
Any
So
attack.
the sword will
Yep.
do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. No, this is literally just an extra turn of cracking your chess piece, right?
Yeah.
Except you also get +1.
The chess piece just makes them free.
Yeah. Right. Oh, right. They don't get... Wait, how does the go again come in?
Lumina.
No.
With her.
With
How does it come
Kasai.
with her? Does she use reactions like Dory's reactions?
Maybe. I actually don't know how she swings her swords a lot. I
But
forgot.
This card.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
card. But yeah, this
I'm-
card is a self-contained +2 to each weapon. Swing 2 more times. Swing with go again. Like you get all 6 copper tokens, and this thing is a Lumina turn in Kasai.
which is awesome. And we're not Blitz players, we're CC players, but if Blitz ever were to become a real competitive format to where we have a bunch of events around us that I need to be ready for, and I'm not wanting to play KO like I will do, Kasai is looking really fun, I think.
Yeah,
this is
I
a good
know
card.
Jesse plays Kasai, and he loves her even before this new support. He was cleaning up some Blitz events at the Callings, some side events playing Kasai. I think ultimately she falls to under the power level of like Kano and Ira and now Oldhim and stuff. But with the recent changes and the new support coming out, yeah, I think I would agree that she's probably pretty strong.
Yeah.
Especially the one-handed weapon stuff really helps. The several cards printed to buff one-handed weapons.
I'm on an 8.
It's very powerful.
Just because it has setup. If it didn't have that much setup involved, which it's an inevitability for Kasai, right? You're gonna get some copper, but to get 6 and have that big payoff is gonna be hard. But I think that's limiting it to an 8.
It also means you can't you have to choose between using cash in and this.
Mm-hmm.
But
you
maybe
can do ways to make silver as well and run cash in with silver, right?
Yeah, maybe that new card that makes a crap load of copper, maybe that's good enough to have an excess and she can do both. I'm not sure.
It is 0 go again. That's, you play High Striker into a sword, and it's like, you really want to waste a card on blocking this too?
I think I'm at 7. I think it's not the setup makes me. If it wasn't for the copper, I'd be at like an 8.
I think I go 7 too. When I first read it, I was thinking you got to choose each one twice for 1 copper. So I was thinking it was 3 copper, but
Oh
for
gosh, that would be
6,
disgusting.
exactly. But for 6 copper, there's a lot of copper to make, and she has ways to get there, but it's not easy for her. So I'd give it a 7 also.
Scour. Oh, there's a cursor on that image. When I first read this, I was like about crap my pants, and then I read it again and noticed that the cost of it is X. So I thought that this literally removed OTK Viscera from the map, but you can only destroy as many. Okay, I should read the card. I'm getting this. Today's not a good day. This is a blue pitch wizard action. It blocks for 3. It's a majestic. It costs X. Destroy X target aura tokens or auras with cost 0 controlled by target hero. Then deal arcane damage to that hero equal to the number of auras destroyed this way. So,
this is actually disgusting.
Pitch a blue, destroy 3 runechants, blast him for 3 arcane damage.
Yeah, Kano could do some nasty stuff with this too. Kano's already terrifying in Blitz.
I didn't even realize this is a blue pitch, dude. You can put this in Icelander and play this from Arsenal on their turn.
Oh, you could, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're playing Blitz and you're playing Kano and you're up against a Viscera, you let them go first, as I think Wizard always does anyway. But you have them go first, and they're like, okay, we'll do the Mordred-Tide, Marvin Skies, read the runes. Let's say that. So there's, 6 rune chants down? Then all you do is just scour 6 of them, and then take your turn and kill them. Because that's how it's going to go. This is mean in Blitz. I don't know how good it is.
You just lost 3 cards to do that, at least, right? Because you had to pitch 6 to destroy the rune chants. Uh-oh. We just lost 2 cameras.
You don't like your math. He bailed.
He's just like gone.
My internet died.
Oh.
Well, welcome back.
Okay.
Sorry, what did you say?
Okay, so well, you lose a bunch of cards to do this. You don't get a powerful, like, you don't get a particularly good turn coming back to you because you played this and you paid in that scenario 2 blues
Well,
to destroy all those.
but starting at 20, Wizard is just having a heyday. So then when he not only gets to start out by dealing you like 6 damage with 2 blues in this and destroy all your runechants, setting you back as OTK Viscera, then he gets to take his turn and kill you from 14 instead of 20. That's all I'm thinking. It's just
you were talking like a turn 0 scenario.
Yeah. Turn 0.
Okay. Yeah, no, I keep forgetting it does damage. It's pretty good. If
Yeah.
And this can target so many things too. I mean, we can target soul shackles. We can target seismic surges. We can target the new illusionist auras that cost 0, which we have not seen yet officially. You can target so many things. Like a lot of people actually have auras that you never really think about as being auras.
Yeah, you can target prismatic shields. You can hit random quickens and embodiment of lightnings. You can hit all kinds of stuff. And it's cool that if you want to clear out the prismatic shields, you can actually only hit half of them, and the arcane that this does will kill the rest.
Yeah.
Assuming they don't have a way to arcane barrier.
Yeah.
It's pretty nasty against it's nasty against Prism in a world where Wizard doesn't just like crumple to Prism, but in a world where like Prism is relying on the spectral shields and Wizard hits you with this in return, your turn just ends because he broke your spectral shield, so you don't get go again. So it's cool in that way, but other than that, Wizard just loses to Prism. He has no way to pop Phantasm. He has no way to attack auras. It's cool interaction though.
Yeah, I think it's a really good card. It's a good sign for the game's design space.
Yep, I think this is on the level of counterplay of Aetherize, except people actually play auras, so this is going to see play rather than the one cost instant that anyone cares about in the game.
Yeah, man, stopping an Art of War feels so good.
I bet it does. Unfortunately, that's just not enough cards to target to put it in your deck. I am at like another 7. It's super good. You're gonna see play. It is situational though. It's a good card.
I was thinking 8 because I think this is going in every Kano deck.
Yeah, I'd give it an 8 too. The fact that it does that much arcane damage, and if you can hit a big turn where you can set up just a bunch of blues into this, it's all one big hit, right? So if you can come in for like 9 or 10, they can only barrier 3 or 4 of it. So you're often going to be able to hit for like 6 with this.
Imagine you crack that other one where you deal damage and then your other stuff deals that much more. You crack that and then this, and then you destroy like 4 of their things, and you just yeah, it's pretty strong. I'll go up to an 8. Good stuff for Wizard.
Goodness, what a good looking card.
Shawarma Gloomveil. Bill, take
it. Swarming Gloomveil, red pitch, majestic, cost 0 for a Runeblade action attack. If you have played or created 1 or more auras this turn, Swarming Gloomveil gains go again. If you have played and or created 2 or more, it gains +1. If you have played and or created 3 or more, it gains when this hits a hero, they can't prevent arcane damage from sources you control this turn. I want that sword as a weapon, first of all.
Dude, you know that sword's coming. Look at that.
It's gotta come. That looks so good. I think this card is really cool.
It's got a ton of text on it.
That is just a phenomenal card for when you hit that turn. For specifically Viscera, when you get to chain a whole bunch of stuff together, and you can lead with this, break some runechants. If this is either pulling a card or 2, more than likely 2. Or 1 in an armor, and then or you hit, and then now you just get so much arcane damage through. Because those big turns, Viscera is pumping out like 12 to 15 arcane damage.
Yeah, and you no longer have the option to prevent it.
Yeah.
My gripe with this card is that the effect is really good against decks that want to block your arcane damage. So if you're in an aggro mirror, or mid range or whatever, I wasn't planning on pitching for 8 arcane damage this turn. It's like Oldhim and Bravo and stuff that want to stop your arcane. They're just sitting there waiting you out and hitting you with their weapon. So this coming in at 4 attack, it's like, are they really ever gonna let it hit? Because that if they stop it now, they don't even have to. I guess the arcane's still coming. But anyways, the turning off the arcane blocking is only relevant to classes that are gonna effectively block this anyway.
Yeah, when I'm looking at this card, I'm looking at it more as just a 4 damage go again. The on hit's probably not going to happen very often. When it does, you might get a few more arcane than you would have normally, but I don't think it's really what you're looking for in this card. But again, another 0 cost 4 go again with the blocks for 3 is just good. It's good value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something that Viscera needs to. More cards with built-in go again, because he has to do the whole like Mavri, like 9 copies of Mavri and Skies and stuff like that. So it's good. That is good for turning on Rosetta. And just to clarify, no, you're not playing some kind of weird aura Runeblade. Your runechants are
Runechants are
auras. So this just says create 1, 2, or 3 runechants to get these effects. You could creepers in that one card that makes 4, and then this is super. The effect is super relevant. So like, let's see, if you have played, it doesn't say when you play. So like, you could swing this for 3 no go again, and then you creepers in the most telegraphed creepers play imaginable. You flash in the oh no, you have to play a non-attack and an attack for that thing to I don't know. That's a lot of setup, but it's possible, I guess.
It's called Revel in Blood, I think.
Yeah, Revel in
Mordred Tide, Storming
Blood.
Gloomveil, flash in, new card.
Yeah. Yeah, and so then that would create like a ton of runechants. This would gain all 3 effects. It gained +1 and go again while it's swinging. Maybe it hits, and now you have a shitload of runechants and Rosetta to hit free arcane.
Revel in Runeblood.
Yeah.
Which, to note, that entire play costs 1. And then to attack with Rosetta afterwards. So 2 for that entire play line. 1 for creepers, 1 for Rosetta.
Amazing. That's a good play too, because that arcane damage adds up really quickly. Yeah, I think you have to play this in a tricky way if you want any relevancy to that last part. But I'd agree that the 0 for 4 go against that's good enough for a good card.
And to note, that would be Mordred Tide into Swarming Gloomveil, which would then create 2 runechants. By itself, giving it go again +1. And then if you flash in the other card, Revel in Runeblood, that's making 6. So this is now threatening 4, and if it hits, those 6 runechants are about to hit you for free.
Plus the 2.
So if they don't,
itself, that'd be 8 runechants.
Yeah.
Rosetta would be 2.
So 8 runechants.
10 arcane.
So if they don't want to, if they see that, then they're going to block this, and you're just going to pass your turn and save your runechants.
So pops them at the end of the turn, though.
Yeah, Revel would pop them.
Revel does pop them, so you would swing the Rosetta anyway. Yeah. But yeah.
Still, cool stuff.
Yep.
Powerful card. Is it higher than a 7? I might be at an 8. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking 7. I'm thinking 7. I think the setup's too big. I think 0 for 4 it's gonna see play as a 0 for 4. I think the on hit is just probably not gonna happen very often. When it does, it'll be good, but there's a lot of setup for it, so it's not entirely reliable. I guess Briar could also run this. There's turns where you'll hit an embodiment and then hit a lightning, or hit an embodiment of earth and then hit an embodiment of lightning, and then all of a sudden this also is just a 4 go again. But yeah, I think it probably only sees play in Viscera, and you'll have to do some weird setup to make it work. So I'd give it a 7.
Yeah, I think I'll say 7, just because for the really relevant thing is getting it to a 4, and you have to create 2 runechants for that.
It's always going to create 2 runechants by itself in Viscera.
it will always create 1.
Oh, right.
played
I'm
it on
thinking you
attack.
always play Mordred Tide.
Every single time, Mordred Tide. No,
Every time, 100% of the time.
obviously, it's super, super cool if you play Mordred Tide with this, but
Yeah.
in a lot of cases, you're going to get 1 for free, and then you got to figure out the other one. But interesting stuff with Briar. I didn't even think about making the embodiments, and then also maybe Grasp, and you can get there. Swing Big. Bill, it's a brute card. You get it.
Big boy. Swing Big. Red pitch 2 cost. Brute attack action. If Swing Big doesn't hit, the defending hero creates a quicken token while the combat chain closes. 8 attack, 3 defense. The biggest thing to note is that brutes are 30 feet tall. So that's cool.
Or he's attacking a what are the little blue, a Smurf village?
A Smurf village, yeah. That's a horse. There's a full-on horse in that corner there.
They have Smurf horses. They're called Smorses.
This man is just cleaving. Yeah, good card. Love it.
If this guy is this big and he's attacking Smurfs, he's working way too hard. He's putting in way too much effort right now.
All it made me think is that KO might not be as small as I thought he was.
He's a runt, but he's like still 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you think this card is actually good? Do you think it's like good?
I think the card's really good. It's unfortunate Levia cannot make very good use of it. She already has a 2 for 8. She doesn't use it. That 2 for 8 doesn't block, but with that not mattered. Deadwood Rumbler is a 2 for 8 with upside. You just run blue Deadwood Rumblers usually.
So why are we running a 2 for 8 with downside?
So, however, Reiner doesn't have a 2 for 8. Or KO. Obviously 2 for potential 16 is awesome. 2 for 8 in Reiner to when you have ways already to do hand disruption, and this doesn't cost a discarded card. So Alpha Rampage costs 3 and another card. This costs only 2 resources. You could have 1 floating, as well as it's 2 blues and Tunic to Blood Rush into Claw, Swing Big. And the likelihood that you swing Claw and they're deciding, I'm not going to block this turn, and then you swing second Claw and they're like, yeah, no, I'm committed. And then you swing Big for 10, they're going to block it and lose their whole hand, which Reiner loves to give him another hand. Like, give me another full hand to keep pressuring you. I think it's a really good card to him as a finisher. You're never going to get this upside if you're playing right.
It is nice. It is nice that Reiner has more big swings that don't require an extra thing, because sometimes you get hamstringed by that. Like, I need to discard another card, but I can't and pitch and play this, and can get messy. So it's nice that you just spend 2 and it goes in.
It's not game breaking by any means, but
no. But like the downside being a quicken token, if they fully defended it, they either had like a red unmovable in arsenal, or they committed like 3 cards to stopping this, or 2 cards in armor, and they're not going to get much use out of that quicken token. So even if they even want to crack back a little bit, like, sometimes you'll block some damage and you swing something okay back just to like even the trade a little bit rather than just sit there and take it. If they do that, they'll waste the quicken, and you're definitely not going to full block and make a huge turn out of that quicken. So if your opponent's going to make use of the quicken token, they're full blocking this, putting a card in arsenal, and then waiting an extra turn for you to hit them again.
I think this card is a trap, but in a different sense. It's not a trap for deck building. It's a trap for your opponent, because new players are like, yeah, I'll get a quicken token. And then you've given Reiner the tempo, which
Kodachi.
He loves.
Yeah. With quicken token.
Or you do that and really mess it up. But if you full block this and then just pass it back, and he's got a 5-card hand, if he was able to arsenal, he's going to town. He can then get a Alpha Rampage on you, and then you're just starting to take big hits that you need to start blocking. So I think it's a good pressure card.
I think it's good. I think it blocks for 3. I think so.
Yep.
Another 7 for me. 8. I think this just goes in Reiner. I think you just.
Absolutely.
I think it's an 8.
Also, Prism. This is a great card for Prism. Give me another more than 6. Bring those Herald of Triumphs and stuff at me.
I'm gonna make use of that quicken token. That's for sure.
Yeah, I
Not
give it
giving
an 8
any.
also.
Yeah, use that quicken token on your Spectral Shield token.
Hey, you're giving me more auras, all right? So when I put Merciful out and then swing Merciful, the quicken's gonna break, and it's gonna actually. I think they have to be illusionist auras. I'm not sure. No, I think it's all. I don't know. I'd have to look at it.
I didn't expect you guys to give a brute card that high of a score, to be honest.
It's just fundamentally good.
We are fair and unbiased in everything we do here.
That is
not.
correct. Except all of the illusionist cards are 10s, which is unbiased and fair.
Yeah, Merciful just reads whenever an aura attack action card you control is destroyed.
Oh my god, you just gave me a free 1 arcane damage, Bill. Are you out of your mind?
Plus go again?
Well, I mean, if you could get me under 30 in a game, that's good for you, right?
Ha ha ha. All right, Tito. Take this ranger card.
Ranger, Tri-Shot, 0, blue pitch. You may activate target bow you control 2 additional times this turn. Has go again. It's a majestic and has 3 block.
All right, moving on.
This card's busted, right?
Nah, this card's pretty good.
This card's pretty good. I just don't know how you make use of the additional activations every turn.
It has to be
I
Death
mean,
Dealer.
Death Dealer.
It
Yeah.
has to be, yeah.
I mean, it's in the
so-
picture.
It's too much for the other bows.
Yeah.
You just don't have the amount of even on a 3 of a kind turn. If you played this on your Voltaire, like that's too many activations. Because this loses you a card, and then you play 3 of a kind, you draw 3, and then maybe you're at like 6 cards total to use. How are you going to activate that bow 4 times effectively? And so I think it's Death Dealer. I think you get to draw 3 cards when you play this, and then you activate Death Dealer 3 times throughout the turn. But then you have to have go again. What?
I mean, it'd be pretty nice to Shiver to dominate 3 attacks.
Yeah, but that's an expensive turn.
Yeah, so for that to work, you have to play this. Now you have 3 cards left in hand. You activate it once, you have to pitch a card. You have 1 card left in hand. So like you literally just only on 3 of a kind turns could you possibly.
Yeah, so you could do 2 potentially.
This is for sure a Death Dealer card. This card is very good with Death Dealer.
Death Dealer just is so unfriendly to New Horizon.
I forgot about that. But
yeah,
it's gonna take some finessing, because this is also I also think that this is only good with Lexi, because you need to be able to give things go again to make use of.
Yeah, that's the problem with the New Horizon issue.
Well, you can flip a lightning card. Oh, you have to get rid of the lightning card.
Yeah, it's an awkward card. This card has a
less
lot
on
of
this card
power
all of a
to it.
sudden.
Yeah, it's a lot of power to it. You read it first and you go, oh, I get to do 2 more activations, but it's just very expensive. Yeah, especially on the 3 of a kind turns, there's just a chance you draw a couple non-arrows off the 3 of a kind, and you already pitched 1 card. So let's say you had a 5-card hand if you already had an arsenal. You play this, then you pitch, then you 3 of a kind. You have 2, you draw your 3, now you're a 5. If 2 of those are non-activations anyway, or non-attacks, you were already just going to shoot your arrows twice with Voltaire. And you have to use that 3rd card that you drew as a pitch. So now the 2 activations you just got off of this are completely irrelevant. It literally did nothing.
But you're drawing an extra card every time you activate it.
Yeah,
well, Death Dealer, you wouldn't have that 5-card hand. You wouldn't have that arsenal slot. I guess with Death Dealer you could do more. But I don't know. There's just a lot of setup to make this card work. Obviously it's strong. And there's some turns with like Dreadbore, the other bow that we got that you can do with this.
Oh, I forgot about that bow.
Send multiple cards.
Yeah, but
because that's the problem with Dreadbore, is trying to shoot multiple arrows. But then you have the same problem where you're just not drawing cards and you're just...
Yeah, your hand is so limited when you're doing that. You fire maybe 2 arrows and it just doesn't matter with because like you have to draw cards. I think this has to be Death Dealer. There's no way that it just doesn't work with other bows unless it's a 3 of a kind turn and you have exactly the right cards to have go again. I think it's Lightning Lexi somehow. I mean, you can drop in the 0 for 4 that you fuse and give go again, right? That could be the only card you drop it in, draw a card, fire that with go again. I don't see any other bow working efficiently. And drawing extra cards seems really powerful, but then you can only play cards from Arsenal. So it's gonna have to be very specific cards. Maybe you start putting in those amulets that allow you to give stuff go again. I don't know.
Yeah, there could be some deck out there too with rapid fires or perch grapplers where all your arrows just have go again. But then
I
it's
forgot.
another card you need to make it all work. So
Yeah.
it's just a lot of work to make this card work. It just seems to be. I keep saying
I'm
it.
less
but
on it.
I keep saying it, but it seems to be the theme of Everfest, where it's just amazing cards with just way too much setup. Well, not necessarily amazing cards, but decent cards with way too much setup.
Yeah, which I would be for if the game was in a slower state. But even our current deck, if Everfest just didn't come out, like there's decks that are so fast and efficient, and like even the mid range decks or Guardian decks like are more powerful than these super long setups can handle. Like you're talking about multi-turn setups and second cycles of decks, and you just don't make it there right now in the current state of the game. And introducing slower archetypes into the mix doesn't seem like it's going to end well when these oiled machines come in and dominate your face off. But anyways, yeah, I'd put this at a 6. It's like almost there. Super, super powerful, but yeah, maybe a little too much setup.
I'm going to give it just that edge to a 6 because I think it is a step in the right direction for Ranger. We're getting there.
Yeah, I'd give it a 6 too. It's one of those cards where the future potential of it is just incredible. So I give it a 6. We'll see it in the future for sure.
Nerves of Steel. 3 cost blue Guardian Aura. Does not have go again. It's a majestic, blocks for 3. When Nerves of Steel enters the arena, remove a -1 armor counter from a chest equipment you control. Battle Worn and Temper on equipment you control doesn't trigger if it defends an attack with 2 or less attack. Battle Worn and Temper trigger when the combat chain closes. When your hero is dealt damage, destroy Nerves of Steel. There's a lot to digest there.
Cards, good.
It is good. There's a lot of
But-
power here in manipulating equipment.
Yeah. Especially with the card that I believe comes next. But
We'll work with that card.
you're gonna get hit in the matchups you really want this card.
That's what I was thinking. You obviously get totally blown out by an attack reaction, right? Any kind of pump.
But like Prism is a card they want this against, or a hero they want this against. But against against Guardian, Prism's gonna have like 7 special shields. You don't have that much equipment. You're gonna get hit. I guess you could keep blocking from hand though, but
yeah, but then that was what I was thinking. Some people were saying that this is a Prism killer, and I was like, I don't give a shit about this card because maybe in the way some people play Prism, where you can lose your steam, but I'm always pitch stacking. I'm not playing my auras out until they're never ending, and I'm gonna end up with 7 things to ping you with. You don't have enough armor pieces for this to be relevant with that, and yeah, as soon as I ping you with 1, this is gone, and then your equipment breaks. I don't like this against Prism. I see how it can help technically, but I don't think it like fixes the match by any means. This also doesn't have go again. You skip a turn doing this. And like you were saying, if you're committing cards from hand and your equipment to like try to keep this up, you're now in a position where you're never attacking me, and I'm putting more auras out for free, and you're just in a worse and worse position turn after turn.
yeah.
It's not worth the effort to keep it alive. I see this as more. I see this more in like Oldhim or some kind of Bravo where you're fatiguing like Briars and stuff. Like you can block Rosetta's physical damage perfectly. You can do things like that. You're making sure you cover up all the arcane damage and covering up breakpoints and stuff.
the thing is, the big up for this is it's a blue 3 cost, so it's Amethyst Enabler and it's still a good card. However, on the same is a lot of lists are running Rouse, which this is a problem for Rouse the Ages. So,
although we do have a 1-card Rouse now, so you may fix the math there.
This is probably a sideboard card.
I think so, but I'm not quite sure which matches you're pulling it in for yet. I could see you doing it against Prism just to prolong the game a little bit more. You get a few. You block her out when she's at like 3 or 4, maybe 5 spectral shields. But I kind of feel like if that doesn't do it for you, and I get upwards of 6, 7, this card doesn't matter, and you're dead. But I can see how it like pushes the needle a little bit. Not having go again's a big problem. There was something else. Oh, but it is super powerful just to slap it down and recover 1 on your chest, because now you have another 2 block. Like you block with.
It's like a life. Basically.
It's a life, but better than a life, because now it's a 2 block you can throw in, not from hand, to cover up breakpoints and on hit effects and stuff. So that's super good. That's really, really valuable, and you get to block with that again without breaking it. So that might be worth taking a turn off. Just like block, throw this down, recover your chess piece, and then later pivot again. Have another a good pivot turn later. I think it's a 7.
I think it's a 5 because, like I said, I think in the matchups you want it in, it's not good enough.
Yeah, I've listening to the guy where you guys think this card is good, and I don't see it. I think this card is honestly pretty bad. It seems like a pretty big trap. This is insane against Benji. Like, he just stands no chance once you stick this out. But other than that, this doesn't seem great. I don't see where you'd really want this. I don't think taking a turn to stick this is where you want to be against Prism. That's true. But that's where you are against Prism. If you have like a 5-card hand and you only block with 2 or 3, so you can take your whole turn to go blue plus this, that's not bad for Prism. Prism's fine with that if that's your whole turn. Like, this seems just not good. Plus, the -1's only from chest equipment. It's not like you can remove it from anything you want.
I forgot about that part.
So you're only taking it off your tectonic plating. If you're running Tunic, you don't even get to do it. Tunic's already dead.
So it's Heart of Ice. Yeah.
So it's Heart of Ice. So it's literally just Protect plating or the new Guardian chest. Yeah, Earth Lore, whatever it is. But I don't see this card being good. And it's heroes dealt any damage. It's not just when your heroes hit. So the random Merciful will pop it if they don't have the Arcane to block it. I don't see it. I see this as like a 3 and a 10 against Benji.
What if I throw out the idea that you forged for war, you block with your Blade Break equipment, no, it wouldn't be Blade Break. What is
this is Battle Worn and Temper.
Oh,
Blade Break is just Blade Break doesn't work with this.
Wait,
it just says Battle Worn and Temper.
I'm thinking. No, I was thinking Forge for War, give +1, block with your equipment. It goes down to 1, and then it comes, because like that only triggers during the end when the combat chain closes, and then you remove it from like your tunic or something. But those have Blade Break, so if you block at all, they just die. So that doesn't work. Go for it.
I do think this is better. The one upside I see for it, it's an aura that sticks around for a while if you're running the aura that checks for auras and draw a card. Embolden. I don't know if you want to be playing Embolden, but
costs 4.
Yeah, but I mean, this will stick around longer than most auras. So your Embolden can now start drawing cards, but I don't see this card being good. The blue block 3. I mean, that's something.
I'll come down to a 6. I think people are going to find ways to use this, but it is very restrictive. I don't know. Maybe it's good in another understanding of the meta where the games go really long and those equipment points matter a lot.
I think with this card, it's very good.
Yeah, but it's chess piece.
But
Well,
I guess
just
it
a
won't
the
trigger
red-
and it gives a frostbite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, Stalagmite, Bastion of Eisenloft. It is a Guardian legendary ice. It's an Ice Guardian legendary equipment. Offhand shield. I guess it just says offhand. It's not technically a shield. It blocks for 2. Whenever you defend with Stalagmite, create a Frostbite token under the attacking hero's control, and it has Temper. So, at a baseline, twice per game, you give them a free Frostbite, and it heals you for 3, or it stops 3 damage. I don't think that's very good at a baseline. I personally, I don't feel the value.
I think it's definitely not a CC shield. I think Rampart is better than this in Classic Constructed in every way imaginable.
Yeah, just the
Yeah,
sheer.
It might be worth it, but probably not still.
Yeah, even then, if you're Oldhim, I don't think you want this because you're just trying to play the long game on Oldhim, and this is
Rampart is
not play a long game.
just powerful.
Rampart's just so good.
This to me is a tempo piece. This is a mid-range or aggro piece where you interrupt your opponent's aggro plan by getting a pretty solid block, at least the first time, and interrupting their turn by giving them a frostbite in the middle of their combat chain. And then you come back and crack back with a more powerful turn than them. And you get to do that twice. So it really feels like a tempo piece for me. It almost seems like a trap to try to do what we did the last card where you stop temper from triggering and you get to block. I mean, obviously that's super powerful. If you can get that to work, if you can get that train rolling out there on the field, you're blocking 2 every turn, giving them a free frostbite and not triggering temper. That's like GG. But that's also saying that's a tall order to say my opponent will never deal damage to me ever again. And that's kind of how I felt about all those prism builds where you're supposed to like play glistens and stuff and just like or play with spectral shield based strategies. You're basically saying my opponent will never deal damage to me. I'm going to win this 40-0. Like that game plan doesn't work. You're going to take damage at some point. You can't sit there forever and take 0. Damage is going to bleed through, which is why the other card is like not that great and super difficult to pull off. And then you're throwing this in here where if you don't have the other thing, this is just worse than Rampart in most game plans. So I really think this is just like a tempo piece, probably in Blitz.
Yeah, I think where you want to be with this card would be either Blitz Bravo or even in CC with the new Bravo. If you want to go to try and pull off the triple element plan where you reveal all 3, this card can be good for that. You just sit back on this card and do nothing, and then you can use this on the turn that you want to reveal your 3 to slow them down quite a bit. But even then, it just seems not great. I don't think it's a bad card, but I don't see it being better than Rampart, better than the options that we already have. I'm also bummed that it's another legendary. So the only 2 good shields that we have are both legendary. We didn't get a Majestic one.
Super
rare.
Yeah, that is really kind of a bummer that they printed all this Majestic equipment to fill in slots and they were all kind of bad except for save for 1 or 2. And then they were like, hey, you know how we just printed a legendary shield? Here's another one, but it's worse.
Yeah.
Is a bit of a feels bad.
Oh, you can't even run this.
Gonna
in
be
Blitz Bravo,
gorgeous
actually.
in the binder.
I just realized you
run this in
can't.
Blitz?
It's Ice Guardian or Blitz Bravo. Sorry, like old. You can run it in Oldhim. You just can't run it in Bravo.
Oh,
It's Ice Guardian.
As long as we continue to not see young Bravo star of the show, this is just
Yeah. Gonna look really good in the binder.
Yeah, it's a
Cool
beautiful
art.
card.
Cool art.
Very
For
good
sure.
art, and I love all of the extended arts.
Yeah. I'm at 6. It's right below, like you'd see it frequently in decks, but like potential has a use.
5.
I don't know. I'm thinking 5 too. Unfortunately,
I am biased. I'm an anti-guardian.
maybe there is a deck with the last aura we just saw where you can run this and keep this up infinitely. And I mean, if you get to block with this every turn, this card becomes insane. but it really depends on how well you can keep that last aura alive or not.
Which seems
So-
like another super tall order.
Yeah. So if you can keep the last aura alive, this card is just incredible. But if not, it's a couple frostbites in a game, and I just don't think it's better than Rampart. Sure, Rampart does cost resource, but on the Oldham plan anyway, you're already doing Crown, you're already doing other random stuff on their turn, where you just have floating resources anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm also not stoked on Guardian. I don't have anything particularly against Guardian, except that they're just like so fundamentally solid. Obviously, as a Prism player, I crap on them all day long, but it's still frustrating to see just how like stellar their class is as a whole. So I'm like slightly happy that their shield sucks, but I am very disappointed to see a legendary slot kind of be wasted. I would have liked to see something a little more exciting in the legendary slot. I really want, if it's going to be legendary and be that kind of chase card of a set, I want it to be a super exciting card that does really cool things. And this is just so basic, bitch. Block 2, block 1, couple free frost, coat of frost, 2 coats of frost on your generic blocking armor. It's like, it feels a little bad. But that is the last card we have today. There was a bit of an incident where a whole bunch of cards got leaked, but like some guy opened like a whole booster box on a Facebook video, and we saw a crap load of cards. But there are some content creators that are scheduled to open packs tomorrow on Saturday, and so we should be getting the bulk of the set, most of the commons and rares at that point. I think spoiler season is about to wrap up since they're having people open packs now, and the set comes out in like a week, like next Friday, right? That should be the
Yeah, I believe it's February
Yeah.
4th. So it should be, yeah.
So we'll be wrapping up spoiler season pretty soon here. I'm not sure how we're going to handle the last of the cards because it will be just like a big smattering of common cards. But I will say the common cards are actually looking very, very like a little more game changing than the Majestics we've seen.
Yeah.
My hype had died. The commons and rares have brought my hype for the set back a little bit.
Me too, except that didn't restore my hype for like how many boxes I have ordered because like they're commons. So, but there's still cool stuff to pull in the set, and the commons are going to create some archetypes of their own and really spice up some of the existing archetypes. So look forward to that, and thanks for watching. We will see you in the next one.